I get one of your applications? I promised that I would take care of you and the kids. So that is exactly what I'm gonna do.
If this is your dream, don't give up on it.
So was there a deeper meaning to taking this project because, you share the same faith as he does?
Yeah, I mean, certainly there was a connection in that. I mean, I think everybody's faith is quite individual. We definitely have a lot of crossover in how we came up in life and the type of kind of Christian background and values and stuff like that. But look, I think that even as outside of the faith aspect, there's still, well, or rather spiritual faith aspect, there's so much faith involved in this movie that's like faith in oneself, faith in another. I mean, Brenda's faith in Kurt was a huge part of him believing in himself even more and able to go and attain those dreams. The faith that her son Zach had in Kurt, and the faith that Kurt and Brenda had in Zach to keep, growing and becoming the young man that he has become, who's just a ray of sunshine in this world. Like all of that stuff, to me, the inspiration behind all of that, the hope that it builds, that's all that makes a movie like this really, really worth doing, I think.
I love the fact that they showed like the support system and, his wife and them being a team in their own. Can you talk more about how that's so important for people to get to where they need to get to?
Yeah. Well, there are many adages, that one can quote, like "No man is an island." There's not that some people, and I'm sure there's always outliers. There are exceptions to these rules. Certainly, there must be some people that didn't do anything or didn't get any help from anybody, and they did it all themselves, and blah blah blah. But that's just not the case. We as much work as we can put in, we're supposed to rely on other people. We're supposed to have, relationship is more important than almost anything. Community and love and family, and that is the value. Other human beings, other life is the real only value in all of this. Football's great, but it's entertainment. We have lots of that. We can go with or without or whatever it is. I love football. I want to be entertained by all day long, but that's still something that's temporal. And love and depth, that's the real value. And I think that's actually, one of the coolest things about the story is when Kurt, who was so driven by attaining this dream and getting there, which is also amazing, the drive that he has to get there, and the faith that then, Brenda has in him, and the support that he then gets, and also the support that he's giving her. I mean, she's a single mom trying to raise these kids on her own and figure out how to live her dreams. I mean, really, American Underdog. I mean, yes, it's Kurt on the poster. Well, me playing Kurt on the poster, and that's the kind of go-to. Oh, he's the American underdog, but really, it's all of them. They're all American underdogs. They're all struggling through life. They're all pinching pennies together to fill up the gas tank. I mean, these are very relatable themes for everybody, and I think at the end of the day, you need to have people supporting you through that, and they did, and that's part of the beautiful part of their relationship that endures to this day. They're still, I mean, they make me sick how much they love each other. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I love that part of the story that he, embraced her children and he loved them so much. And I thought that was so deep.
Oh, yeah. And at 21, by the way, like a 21-year-old jock at college, when he could be off doing all the other things that 21-year-old jocks in college would be doing, he's like, no, I really dig you and I like your kids and let's just kind of figure this out. And it's like, wow, I mean, there's a lot of integrity and depth in that,
So I thought this was so good. I want to know, how important was it for you guys to show your faith throughout this movie?
It was important because it's who we are. It's what's driven our story from day one. It's what people know about us. So it was important that faith was a huge part of this movie, but it was also important to us that the faith was done in such a way that it could connect with anybody that went to the movie, regardless of where they found themselves at that particular time. Because as you see in the movie, when we met, we were at two completely different places from a faith perspective. And it's that journey that you go on. And so that was a big part of trying to get this right, is what does that look like in this film? Always going to be an underlying theme, but how do you find that balance so everybody is connected to that? And I think, the Irwin brothers did a tremendous job of being able to find that.
And everybody's been telling me that there wouldn't be a movie if they didn't have your two relationships in the movie. Like if they didn't show that part of your, journey. So can you talk more about that?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, is that people were trying to make this movie for a long time. And we always say it was easy to get the football part right because everybody knows the football part of it. What was harder to get right is what was the, the relationship part of it. What was the love story? What was the part that really made the football journey happen? And so to me, this movie was only going to be made if there was more than one hero in this story, because everything that we've done along the way has been together. And so a beautiful part of this movie, I believe, is that, yeah, I'm the hero in the end in my way. Brenda's a hero in the end in her way. Zach's a hero in the end in his way. And that's what I believe will resonate with people, because everybody's going to come to this movie in a different place and with a different background. And we have a chance to touch all of those people because of that part of it, the love stories that are in the movie, love for my dream, love for my wife, love for my kids, and how that all is intertwined throughout the story.
And Brenda, looking back on it for you, seeing the love that he had for your children, can you talk about, that must have been emotional again to see that played out again on screen?
Yeah, it's a nice reminder because we have 7 kids now, and in the movie we had the 2. But when I met him, and those were my babies, and to be able to just kind of, say, these are my children, and are you worthy to love them the way they deserve to be loved? It wasn't easy, but it was watching the movie was a great reminder of how this 21-year-old football wannabe, basically didn't back down. And who does that? It still shocks me because I have children that age and there's no way that they would take that on. So it says something about his character.
I also think in the movie too, watching the movie is a reminder to us of Zach's integral role in us falling in love with each other.
Oh.
Because it was easy, I think, to see what we saw in each other. But Zach broke down walls that Brenda had. Like, I don't know if anybody's worthy of this. And then to see Zach kind of fall in love with me, see me fall in love with Zach, to watch her be mom to the kids, which, right, you get into most relationships and you never really know, okay, what kind of mom is, my wife going to be or my girlfriend going to be? To be able to see that and understand that was such a huge part of our relationship. So that was something that was brought to life again to me watching the movie, is Zach's role. I mean, without Zach, I don't know if we're together, because we had enough walls or different things in our lives that he was a key cog in that. And I hope people see that.
Good to see Actually, you. Last time I talked to you, you guys were on set for this.
Right. Yeah. We were in the middle of it. It was, we were filming in the height of the pandemic in Oklahoma and Texas. And it was a crazy ride, seeing this film kind of come to life. But then we were in the middle of capturing it last time we talked to you, and, kind of figuring out what kind of movie we had. And so fast forward to now, and it's finished. It's incredible. We're really proud of it. And it's going to be a Christmas Day release. So, I mean, who would have thought?
It was fun though. It was a rite of passage though, making the film. Even there was a blizzard all throughout middle. We call it the blizdemic, and it was just like everything. It was. But I think all that struggle is in the movie. And glad you were a part of it. Well, I read that Zach actually was able to be a part of it because of kind of his schedule changes because of the pandemic. So there were some blessings out of it, that's right? You just never know. I mean, that's one of the great themes in the story, is you just never know how God is going to work, and things that are incredibly disappointing in the moment, you look back and you're like, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. And one of those things is I love the movie is getting this Christmas Day release. So families everywhere can see it together. And then it comes at such a special time, because I just think that we need to be reminded of the possibilities of our dreams, and that God still has amazing plans for us, and those plans can happen. And it's just been such a tough year and a half for all of us. I mean, we need to be re-inspired together. And so looking back, that's exactly right. I think this is the only way the movie would have happened. And you sort of see God's hand in it in retrospect, not while you're in it so much. That's one of the themes of the story, but in retrospect. I like that about the story, that, that he is
he has a time period where he's in the grocery store where he's working. So I want you guys to talk about how you like hope younger, maybe teenagers who are kind of pursuing this dream, but they've got to do these jobs to kind of support themselves in the everyday, how they can be inspired by the story.
Yeah, I think that's a incredible question. I think that really what we feel like is so important is all of us see that person having that breakout moment, that they had that moment where they become a superstar, and you think that it happens overnight, and this dream just came about, and they chase this moment rather than committing to the process. And that process sometimes is the years and years of struggle, just taking a step in the next direction and not giving up on, who, God calls you to be. And so there's a beautiful moment that happens, in that grocery store where, Kurt Warner is looking at the Wheaties box that has another famous number 13 on it, Dan Marino, and just saying, I want to be that guy. That's the guy he wanted to be, but he was so far from that dream, but he didn't quit. He didn't give up. And then that moment comes about in the most unlikely way. But in all those years of struggle, God really helped him discover who he truly was, apart from what he did, apart from his job, who he really was. And he discovered that heart of a champion through his family, through his kids, through his wife, and ultimately his relationship with God.
And it's great that you had a lead actor that was strong Christian as well. That's kind of a very hard to find, but it's, it's
Zach
added a lot.
Born to play this role. What an incredibly talented guy. What a range. I mean, it's almost unfair when you can be like a superhero and sing and dance on Broadway and be in a Disney movie and a TV show, but also, a person of faith. And he really embodied the role. I think his role he was born to play. Yeah. He's fantastic. He and Kurt are so similar, and it was wonderful making a movie with him. And I think it's a great performance, and I can't wait for people to see it.
It was, the connection, the faith connection. Zach and I connected about 10 years ago because we both were people of faith in the industry, and then we lost touch, and then all of a sudden, when he got cast as Shazam, we had I Can Only Imagine coming out around the same time, and we reconnected and just started dreaming. We're like, let's do something together, and then this project fell in our laps that was just like tailor-made for Zach Levi. So it was a God thing even in that.
So I love the fact that this movie really built up their relationship. It's so much deeper than another sports movie. It talked about their relationship. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, and Kurt would be the first to say this, you're not telling his story if you're not telling the story of his life with Brenda and his love story with Brenda and everything that they overcame as a couple and faced together, and how much he credits her for everything he was able to achieve. So, it would have been a very strange version and not very accurate version of the Kurt Warner story if we didn't get to know Brenda. And that was certainly what drew me to playing her, was that it's the side that people don't know, the people who are around the public person who everybody knows or thinks they know, and what they're really dealing with at home, and what, who those people are that are really in their corner. And that she's amazing.
Yeah. Do you feel like you've learned, I'm sure every role you take, you can take a little nugget of that character. Do you feel like you've learned something from her? And, it's nice to play like a real person. So do you feel like
it's interesting because yes, but like not in a sort of specific, oh, there was this one thing kind of way. I think it's more that as a person, I find her strength and her kindness and her humor and just her as a human being to be so wonderful and open and loving and giving, and that, it is a good lesson that, you can go through some rough times and it doesn't have to sort of break who you are as a person. And she's a living example of that.
I love this story because, he has a time period that he's trying to make ends meet, and he's in the grocery store and he's working hard. And, how would you like that to encourage maybe teenagers or even young people who are thinking of their dreams, that they, you can aspire to great things?
I think that the story is all about being dream big. You never know, it might seem like a completely impossible thing that you're wanting to do with your life. And everyone around you might be discouraging you, but if it's your dream, go for it, you know? You were born for this.
This is my time. I know who I am and I know why I'm here.